Okay, so this is my review of Angry Joe's review of Dead Island 2. Um, I gave it a 6 out of 10. Uh, but I watched some of his streams, and the number one thing that he made the mistake of, he didn't get to know this. Like, I think he started with Carla, maybe, and then he switched to Ryan. He didn't really get to know his Slayer. Not very well. He also made the mistake of hoping that Guns would babysit him once he found one. Um, whenever he was playing the game and he get to a major story beat, he tended to like stare at his phone, like play with his phone and talk to chat when he was playing the game. He did that more than once, not really actually paying attention to the story. So I'm not really sure how he could review the story and tell you about the story, because he's not paying attention to it anyway. So how would he know that much about the story? Really? I mean, again, if you're going to sit there and play with your phone and like talk to chat and just like wander off as soon as people are talking, how do you know what the story, like, what do you mean that, you don't have any input on the story? You weren't really paying attention to the story. The story is actually kind of interesting. It seems like they're going in a Lovecraftian sort of direction, and the game sort of it leaves you on a very classic cliffhanger. That movies and some of the most beloved video games ever tend to leave you on cliffhangers, because they're trying to build a world, right? And they're not going to do it in just one game, right? The game's going to have DLC content coming out, sort of continue to paint this world, like add, it's sketched out the world for you, and now it's going to slowly, layer by layer, just sort of filling in those sketches with color and amazing affirmations, That's not a terrible way to tell a story, to be honest, right? But yeah, he spent a lot of time just like kind of looking at his phone. There was like a lot of moments where other Joe would be off doing something. He's continuing to progress the story, and Joe's just, I don't know, looking at stuff, playing around with the workbench. He's not really jumping in there and helping other Joe. He's just kind of mumbling, be like, oh, he does that thing on stream where he likes to mumble. Pretty obvious that he's bored with the game, right? And like other Joe would be doing something and Joe's just not paying attention. He's not jumping in there helping his co-op partner at all. And then he kind of complains because Alex jumps, like he wanted to jump in at one point, and like Alex hadn't actually been playing the game. So, and then Alex gets like super mad, or they get aggravated because Alex can't jump in as a level 1 or 2 Slayer, or level 4 Slayer. Like, and there's a reason for that, right? Because if you're a level 15 Slayer and then you get some level 4 or 5 jumping in there with you, you're going to be babysitting them, right? Because they haven't put in as much time as you have. And that's the truth of it, right? Like, low-level Slayers is just going to come in there and just going to end up babysitting them while they're trying to drink up the XP from the higher level quests, right? That's all they wanted to do. So Dam Buster stopped that before that was even a thing, right? That's not bad. That's a good thing. Because I'm here to tell you right now, I'm not into babysitting low-level players who want to jump in and get the guns, after I progressed the story, I got my hands on the gun, I dealt with Nikki, and then some level 5 Slayer's going to come in and expect me to trade guns with them, so that way they don't have to do any of that. But anyway, so they were complaining about that, and then and Angry Joe in his review said, "Oh yeah, well, you're gonna have a really tough time with this game, because it's really hard. It's hard because you're not doing like you're not playing the game. You're just surviving the game. Like you're just going from one story beat to the next story beat to the next story beat, and like the challenge is getting cranked up. He didn't take the time to get to know his Slayer. He's wanting guns to babysit him. He's there was like one point where they got a food order in, and he's sitting there stuffing his face, having other Joe solve one of those pressure puzzles, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I know it's getting ready to happen. Like halfway through the pressure puzzle, like two burning zombies and a couple foremen are going to come in, and they're going to try to disrupt your puzzle. But see, Joe didn't know that, so he's sitting there stuffing his face off in the corner while angry, like other Joe is solving the puzzle. And then he started yelling because the zombies came in and started smacking him around like he owed them money, you know. And he was complaining about how you gotta always kill zombies. Like, yo, you gotta kill them all. I'm so sick and tired. Like, they didn't give you any decent quests, so I'll kill the zombies. Kill the zombies. Yeah, you're in a zombie game, dude. You're in a frickin' zombie game. It's if you're in a zombie game, you might want to actually like, yeah, the game expects you to kill zombies. Like they're an obstacle, like they're a threat. They're always a threat in like a real zombie game. You got to deal with them. Yeah, and most of the quests revolve around you clearing out the zombies, creating safe places, to conduct your investigations, or creating a safe space for like survivors. Yeah, imagine that. It's so crazy. There's zombies in a zombie game and you have to actually kill them, like a lot of them all the time. Be like, and he's like, well, I just wish there was more interesting boss fights. Why? Dude, you sucked. Like, he sucked at the game. Like, what do you mean more interesting zombie fights? Like, you were struggling, y'all was struggling just trying to kill normal zombies. Like, no, you don't need more interesting. And again, like, we're talking about a Dead Island game. Like, it's classic that you don't really get boss fights in the game. You just, like, you get introduced to new variants, right? Because it's all about the zombies, and then those variants are introduced into the world once you overcome your first encounter with them. That's kind of a Dead Island game, dude. You even saw like same thing in Dying Light, like the first Dying Light game. Remember how like every encounter was like every encounter like that was just introducing a new elite into the world. Like that's classic. It's a tradition. It's not really like it's that's not, I mean, yeah, it's not a real boss system, but it's a tradition for the game franchise, dude. Like, what are you even spouting about, right? Like, it's just all over the place. But yeah, so Angry Joe gave Dead Island Dead Island 2 a 6 out of 10. But really, in all honesty, like, I'm gonna give his review like a 5 out of 10 because I saw the streams, and you know how Angry Joe is these days, especially these days, right? He sits there and he's like, he peddles his merch, right? His merchandise, and like I unsubscribed from him a long time ago because his channel's changed way too much. Like, he talks about greedy, lazy developers and stuff like this, and like, and there he sits, like, mumbling his way through streams and hoping that other Joe just kind of crutches him through the experience, while he mumbles or yells, right? He's got two, like, this he's either mumbles or yells. Mumble, yell, mumble, yell. It's a blue, I got my blue t-shirt, I'm representing, buy my merch, buy my G Fuel stuff. Watch me play this zombie game and be like really lazy about it, and I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Like, it was pretty obvious he didn't actually enjoy playing the game. Like, he was just like, I think other Joe was actually having a good time with the game. I kind of picked up on that vibe more than once, but he had a really crappy co-op partner. And of course it's not his show, right? So he doesn't get a whole lot of input. Like, he's got two choices. He either agrees with Alex or he agrees with Angry Joe. He doesn't really get to have an opinion, but you could tell that he was actually enjoying it because there toward the end, when he realized that you could actually load back into the game after the credits were rolling, like, he was interested, right? Because Angry Joe was spouting off about, like, how, oh, the game ended like this, blah 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 blah, and then once other Joe realized that you could load back in, like, he was kind of wanting to play around a little more with the game, and Angry Joe did it too, right? Because his co-op partner's still playing, and this is a whole lot of dinking around, is all it was. There's a whole lot of surviving, not really playing the game. Yeah, like, there was moments he was playing the game, but mostly, I mean, I felt like Angry Joe was crutching his way through the game. Every time a major story beat happens, he's looking at his phone or he's talking to chat. He's not really listening to the story. He's not picking up on any of the nuances, right? He's just, it's Angry Joe. Yeah. 6 out of 10 review. Yeah, I give your review like a 5 out of 10 because I watch your streams, dude. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share my opinion of that lackluster review. Yeah, he admitted that he liked it more than Dying Light 2, but I mean, Dying Light 2 really wasn't a zombie game. It's an action game with zombies in it, so yeah. But anyway, that's all I got for now, my honeys. You all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. You all stay safe out there in LA, okay? And I'll catch you on the flip side. You'll probably hear me, like, I'll probably be talking, like, I'll be hitting these points again throughout my Amy run, because there was a video where I just got done watching Angry Joe's review, and I did have some tongue-in-cheek things to say. Kind of, it's kind of be like a repeat of what I was talking about here. But yeah, I don't think that video comes out till like Monday or something. So, but I want to put my 2 cents in now because that review went live today. It's ridiculous. Anyway, you all have a wonderful morning. Yeah, I already said all that, right? I already said all that, huh? All right. Mama loves you all. Go be amazing, my darlings. Talk to you later.